Let's look at Power Query Merge. In Power Query, there are three different types of merge. We have regular merge, the range merge, and the self merge. The regular merge in Power Query is the normal merge where you merge two tables together using a single row, using a single column from a particular table and connect it with another table. That is the normal merge in Power Query. But the range merge helps you to merge two columns together. It helps you to merge a column that are within a range of between a range of data sets. It might be between a range of dates. Could be between a range of number, or could be between a range between two dates or two number. I want to merge these two types, this data set, these tables together. What you need to do is to use the range merge in Power Query. So we're going to see how we can do that in Power Query. So looking at a data set here, I have those data sets here. Look at my data sets here. I have an enrollment table. I have the student table. I have the evaluation table. Okay. Okay, let's make this the cost table. Okay, that's my cost table. I have the cost table, I have the student table, evaluation table, and enrollment table. Now, in my cost table, I have the registration number of the students. I have the student's registration number. I have the student registration number here. Also, I have the course ID. I have the start date and the end date of the particular course that is being taken by that particular student. Here, I have the student's name and the registration number. Here, in evaluation date, the date in which the student took is evaluation. This is the date of the evaluation, and this is the registration number of the student. Now have an enrollment date, the date in which the student actually enrolled. Now, if I want to merge these two tables together, I want to know where there's a course ID, I have the start date, I have the end date, but I want to know the course ID that falls between those two dates, the start date and the end date. Now, okay, this is a student with the this is a cost ID, and this is an evaluation date of the student. So I want to see which cost ID falls between this evaluation. I want to see the cost ID and the evaluation date that falls in between the start date and the end date. And I want to see the cost that the student took, the date of the evaluation that falls between the start date and the end date. Now, here we have the student table. I have the cost table where I have the cost ID, I have the cost name, and I also have the credit rating. There's the enrollment. I have the student ID, I have the cost ID, I have the start date, I have the end date. So this is the student ID. There's a cost ID, the start date, and the end date. So you can see for this particular student, we have the cost ID occurring on the ones, the date, start date, and the end date. Okay, and we can see we have duplicates here. Then we look at the evaluation date. Now you can see we have the student ID with the same student 1, 2, 3 appearing 3 times, and it has different evaluation dates. Now this having different evaluation dates. Yeah. So in this evaluation date, I want to see the evaluation date that falls between. Now I have the course ID here, course 105. Okay, for student ID 101. Now you can see I don't have the course ID here, so I want to see the course ID that falls. I want to see the course ID. I want to see the course ID. I want to see the cost ID. I want to see the cost ID here on this particular evaluation table. I want to see the cost ID alongside with this. I want to see the cost ID here. Also, I want to see the evaluation date that falls between the start date and the end date of the enrollment. date of the student. So I want to see the course ID that the evaluation data falls in between these two dates. Alongside also, I want to see the course ID also alongside it. So this is my data set is already in Excel spreadsheet. So let's just head up to the Power BI. So I'm quickly going to go to get data and click on that. Select the range, make that the name of my data set. Okay, now I'm going to select my data sets now. These are my data set and these four tables. I'm going to click on transform data. Now that will take me to the Power Query editor. So in the Power Query editor, I'm going to do all I need to do. Now this is the student table. You can see, okay, let me remove this. Let's cleanse the dataset and remove the bottom rows. We want to leave row 1 to 10. So that's the bottom row 1 to 10. Let's see if everything is done properly. I Let me remove the columns. Is the evaluation date. Now here is the evaluation date. Okay, now you can see under the evaluation date here, we have the student ID, we have the course evaluation, and we have the evaluation date. Now we don't have the course ID here. Now this is the enrollment date here. Now here is the enrollment date. Let's quickly cleanse this particular data set and let's remove unwanted columns. Okay, now you can see this is enrollment date. I have the course ID, I have the start date and the end date of that particular course. In evaluation date, I have the evaluation date, but I don't have a course ID. So I'm interested to know, I want to know the evaluation date. I want to know the evaluation date. I want to know the evaluation date that falls between the start date and the end date, alongside with the cost ID. So I want to see the cost ID alongside with the evaluation date that falls in between the first. I want to see the evaluation date that falls in between these two particular dates. Okay, now let's quickly go to student ID evaluation date. Let's go to enrollment table. Now we are going to connect these two tables together. Now we're interested in the course ID, the start date, and the end date. We want to add it to this particular table. Course ID, the start date, and the end date. Okay. So now this is a trade that was what we need. Now we have the course ID. Now you can see we have Tableau duplicated the data set. We have up to like 45 data sets. So what Tableau did is that for this particular course ID, for this particular student, we have up to like 8 for this particular student. We have the course ID, we have the evaluation date, we have evaluation date, we have the course ID, and we have the start date and the end date. Now you can see that. So what we're going to do now, we're going to cleanse this data, we're going to remove this, because what I'm interested in, I'm interested to see the course ID of the evaluation date and the date in which the student took an evaluation for a particular course that falls between the start date and the end date. Now this is the date of the evaluation. This is the student took the evaluation. This is the date the student did the evaluation. and this was a cost that was done on that day, and the date falls between the start and the end date. So I want to see the cost ID that actually falls between those range of dates. Now you can see I have this 28th September, I have this 15th of August and 10th of October. Now this is okay. Now so we are going to look at that. We are going to keep those that are okay. And like for instance 28th September, 20th of September 2023, and we have 15th of August to 10th of October. Now, these are valid. Now, there are some that are not valid. For instance, there are some that are not valid, and when we go through this, we'll see that some are not actually valid because it doesn't fall between the range, the start, and the end date. Like for instance, we have 14th of October 2023. We have the start date 15th of August 2023. And we have the end date is 12th of May 2023. Now you can see this doesn't actually make sense. But Tableau combined everything together because what Tableau did wherever Tableau sees the student ID, when there is a student ID, once the ID matches between the two tables, the enrollment and the evaluation table, um, the every data set in this particular table in this particular column were included in the table. That's what that we did. So we're going to merge this properly. We're going to cleanse that now. So to do the merge, we go to custom, click on custom, and we can call this the match. Let's say match, the match date. Okay. Now let's call this, let's see if the evaluation date, if the evaluation date is greater than or equals to the start date. If the evaluation date is greater than or equal to the start date, and if the evaluation date is less than or equal to the end date. So if the evaluation date is the less than or equal to the end date, evaluation date is greater than or equal to the start date, and so there was a then true, otherwise then true as false. Okay. Now, so when the start date was true, we just click on OK and we'll see what time. You can see it's giving us true, and there's somewhere where the evaluation date is here. The evaluation date does not fall in between the start and the end date. Like this is 11th of October, while the evaluation date is 29th of September. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on this and we are going to click on only the true and we'll leave this. So this how to perform the merge, the range merge in Tableau. So this using the custom column, we are able to merge this together. So I'm not interested in this. We're not interested in this. We're not interested in static. We're not interested in the merge. So we are going to remove all that columns from this. So now this is what we're interested in: the student name and the course ID, the evaluation, the course rating, and the evaluation date. Now this is evaluation date that falls between the start date and the end date of that falls between the start date and the end date of that particular. So we can see now we've taken the start date, the end date, and the course ID. We brought it into the evaluation date. So when we see for each course, the course ID we see that falls between the start and the end date. So now we're going to click on close and apply. This takes us into a Power BI. So in the Power BI, we can see that. I'm fine. Okay, we can see. Let's pick and see a model view in Power BI. Now you can see the model view in Power BI. And let's see. Okay, now you can see a model view in Power BI. So now we have two tables. So this are the performance range made in Power BI. So we have the two table known as the data table. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, please give it a thumb up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you.